What do you think is the best way to win a siege? Well, my friends, a Viking once played dead, and it led to the capture and sacking of the city of Rome, which of course led to the inspiration for Ragnar's famous scene in Vikings when he captures Paris. While Ragnar is likely a very mythical character, the person who was supposed to be his son was very much real, and this is of course Bjorn Ironside, who famously raided all across the Mediterranean in a grand campaign, sacking cities across the south of France, Spain, before eventually finding himself in Italy. Bjorn is joined on this expedition by another legendary Viking, Hestin, who has a marvellous idea that Bjorn should be Roman Emperor. But in order to do that, you have to capture Rome, and so Bjorn and his massive army lay siege to the Eternal City. The Vikings fail to breach the marvellous and strong walls of Rome before Hestin has a marvellous idea again. Hestin will pretend to convert to Christianity before pretending to die. Being a Christian, he now requests burial in holy ground, and so a delegation is sent into Rome saying, can Hestin be buried here? The Romans say, sure, why not? And so his coffin is carried into the city by a small honour guard. However, this is where things get crazy. As Hestin would burst out of his coffin in which weapons have been placed, and he and his companions would make way to the gates of Rome, and the city was thoroughly sacked. However, there is one slight issue, and that is that the city they have just sacked is not Rome. Bjorn thinks it is, but it isn't. Instead, it's the city of Luni, 230 miles north of Rome. The city has been thoroughly sacked, and so Bjorn decides, well, I guess we're going to actually go for Rome now. But before he even gets a chance to leave the city, a Roman army is marching up the coast to fight him. Bjorn and Hestin decide, well, let's just head home now. And so they do. So Bjorn would never be Roman Emperor, but he probably thought for a brief period of time that he might be. However, instead he had to settle for being an extraordinarily rich and famous Viking. I hope you enjoyed.